Module. Assertions. The next chapter introduces assertions. Specifying properties. Informally, a property is a description of design intent. When studying properties, it is generally easier to view their composition as three distinct layers. The first is the Boolean layer, which is comprised of Boolean expressions. For example, Verilog or VHDL expressions. A property's Boolean layer is comprised of Boolean expressions composed of variables within the design model. The second is the temporal layer, which describes the relationship of Boolean expressions over time. A property's temporal layer permits to describe the Boolean expressions' relationships to each other over time. Thus, all time ambiguities associated with a property are removed. The third is the verification layer, which describes how to use a property during verification. While a property's Boolean and temporal layers describe general behavior, they do not state how the property should be used during verification. Thus, it is the third layer of a property, which is the verification layer, that states how the property is to be used. Defining or partitioning a property in terms of the abstract layer enables us to dissect and discuss various aspects of properties. However, it is quite simple to express design properties, and the three-layer is merely a way to explain concepts. We do not intend for our use of this partitioning to convey a sense that the actual language syntax is complex. What is an assertion? An assertion is a description of a property of the design. If a property that is being checked for in a simulation does not behave the way we expect it to, the assertion fails. If a property that is forbidden from happening in a design happens during simulation, the assertion fails. Assertions are primarily used to specify functional properties of a design. These properties describe the general behavioral attributes related to the design features, often indicating what it should or should not do. Based on the functional specifications of the design, relevant behavioral features are extracted. All design features are inferred into a list of properties, and those that need verification are converted into assertions. These assertions can be continuously monitored during functional simulation. The same assertions can also be reused for verifying the design using formal techniques. Assertions, also known as monitors or checkers, can be inserted at any point in the design code to verify whether the code complies with the functional specifications. As a form of debugging technique, assertions have been employed in the design verification process for a very long time. Defining assertion. Assertions allow us to capture specific design behaviors and gain detailed knowledge about how a design should operate. Assertions are vital to increasing both the observability and controllability of a design. Observability measures what can be checked in the verification process. such as how many Verilog VHDL source code lines or functionalities can be checked by the checker. Controllability measures the stimuli toggled during verification, such as how many code lines or design functionalities have been toggled. An assertion corresponds to a design behavior property that specifies the legal and illegal behaviors of the internal circuit structure, which can be RTL elements, interfaces, controllers, and more. For example, the description of these design behavior properties could be as follows. A FIFO design should not overflow, meaning that there should be no write operation on the FIFO when it is full. Or, the value of the sum signal in the design should be less than a specific value. Assertions have been introduced into coverage-driven verification technology as part of checking verification completeness. By adding assertions to the verification environment, we can check whether the design functionalities to be verified have been toggled by the stimuli in the test cases and analyze whether there are any coverage holes in the verification environment. Assertions monitor design properties. Assertion is an embedded code that can be inserted anywhere in the design code like a monitor, as shown in this diagram. The outermost layer is a verification environment, with two design modules, IP1 and IP2. In the design under verification, DUV. In this verification environment, some assertions can be created, which can be inserted at the top level of the DUV, between the connections of IP1 and IP2, within the IP1 module, or within the IP2 module. In the verification environment, test stimuli are injected from the input ports of the design. During verification, assertions are inserted at design functional features triggered by the test stimuli. The goal is to observe whether specified conditions have occurred or if specified event sequences have taken place. When the specified conditions in the assertion property expression fail, or the specified sequences cannot complete correctly, the assertion will generate a warning or an error. By inserting assertions in the verification environment, this method significantly improves the verification efficiency for designers, enabling them to find bugs in the design earlier and more easily. In the verification directive for design behavior properties, there is a type of directive called cover, which can be used to check the completeness of verification, without coverage for functional checks. There are significant limitations in the verification environment. Collecting coverage information is fundamental to any verification methodology.